Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so you handed us this stack of sources, and wow, they're less academic theory, more like, well, financial battlefield reports, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We're looking at some really intense stories here. Family betrayal, serious greed, financial fraud, but the focus is on the comebacks.
Right, these incredible turnarounds engineered by people everyone else just wrote off.
Exactly. And what jumps out immediately is that the winners, they were always the underestimated ones. You know, the family scapegoat, the quiet grandmother, this highly structured autistic teenager.
And their opponents, seems like they just banked on arrogance.
Pretty much. They assumed emotional bullying, maybe some paper fraud would be enough. They completely missed the power of meticulous, legally sound facts.
So our mission today, it's really focused. We're not just retelling these dramatic stories. We're digging deep into the how.
We want to extract the actual tools they used. You know, the deeds, the trusts, even software. How did they build these, legal fortresses around themselves?
Turning simple documents into defensive weapons.
It's basically a masterclass in financial self-defense. And emotional defense, too, really. If there's one takeaway for you listening, it's this. Power isn't about who shouts loudest.
No, it's about who can prove their case, irrefutably, with records, with legal structures.
That's it. Proving what is real against what is claimed.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with Ammani Washington. This story is just spectacular. She's 26, an art history major.
And the family scapegoat, routinely dismissed as, quote, worthless.
Right, and the scene is the will reading. Her grandparents' estate, $38 million. Her father, David, her brother, Marcus, the golden child. They're just assuming it's all coming to them.
And then the lawyer reads the will. Ammani gets everything. Sole inheritor. David, Marcus, the mother, Monique. Cut out completely.
The shock must have been immense. But that was just the start, right? David Washington didn't just accept it.
Oh, no. His reaction was immediate, aggressive. He basically demanded she sign it all over to the family trust, right then and there.
And when she refused?
Instant retaliation. Her mother literally threw her stuff out onto the street. Meanwhile, David's operating under this massive pressure cooker of time.
Which it turns out the grandparents had totally anticipated.
Exactly. Ammani discovers his consulting firm is drowning $2 million in debt. And worse, he'd illegally leveraged her grandfather's stock portfolio for a loan.
A fraudulent loan.
Correct. And his plan was to sell the family mansion the very next morning, 9 a.m. sharp, to cover that illegal $2 million debt.
But here's where the grandparents' genius comes in. The mansion
wasn't actually part of the will. 6 months earlier, they did something incredibly clever. They transferred 100% ownership of the house directly to Ammani.
Using what? How did they do that?
A quick claim deed.
Okay, pause there. For listeners, maybe explain that. What makes a quick claim deed different from just putting it in the will? Why was it the crucial shield here?
Good question. So a will usually goes through probate. That's a public court process, can be long, messy. David could have contested it for months.
Tying up the house, giving him time to maybe force the issue with that bad loan.
Precisely. But a quick claim deed, it transfers ownership immediately. Outside of the will, outside of probate. It's fast, simple, and once it's recorded publicly, it's pretty much ironclad.
So legally, the house was already hers. David had zero claim, zero right to sell it to cover his debts.
Zero. It became her fortress instantly. Untouchable by him.
Incredible foresight. But Ammani didn't just defend, she went on offense. She found things hidden in the library.
Yes, in a false book. First, a ledger. This documented her brother Marcus embezzling $500,000.
Wow, for what?
Covering gambling markers. Looks like MGM Grand, Bellagio. Serious stuff.
Okay, that's bad. But there was more. The USB drive.
That was the killer evidence. An audio recording, David and Marcus. Plotting
what?
Their whole plan. Wait for the grandparents to pass away, use the $38 million inheritance to cover both their frauds, the $2 million loan, the $500K embezzlement.
And the money.
Their words were, leave the money on the street where she belongs.
Okay, I have to stop you. She has recordings, ledgers, clear evidence of major financial crimes, conspiracy. Why didn't you just call the police? Option A, prison.
Right. That seems like the obvious move. But the sources suggest she made a tactical choice.
Tactical how?
Well, option A, prison. That means trials, appeals, years of legal battles. It could have dragged the grandparents' legacy through the mud. Option B, what she called corporate execution.
What did that involve?
It was faster, cleaner in a way. She confronted them, lawyer Mr. Jameson at her side, right as David was trying to get locksmiths to break into her house.
Publicly.
Very publicly. Jameson presented the recorded quitclaim deed. Police were there. David had to back down, completely humiliated.
So the execution part.
She forced David to sign over his failing company. Poof, gone. No more souls for debt. She forced Marcus into 90-day rehab. And crucially, both had to legally renounce all claims to the $38 million. Forever.
So she traded potential criminal justice for immediate guaranteed control and, well, peace, I guess.
Seems like it. She neutralized the threat instantly. And then she used the inheritance to convert the mansion into the Theodore and Ammani Washington Center for the Arts.
Protecting the asset, protecting their legacy. Just a flawless victory built on a deed and a USB drive.
Exactly. Their biggest mistake. Underestimating the scapegoat. Assuming she wouldn't check the records, wouldn't look in that old book.
Okay, let's shift gears now. We move to a very different kind of documentation. This involves Vivian and her autistic grandson, Ethan.
Yes, a really compelling story. Vivian raised Ethan from age 5. Her daughter, Rachel, basically just left him at the door. Vanished for 11 years.
And Vivian adapted her whole life for him.
Completely. Strict consistency was key for Ethan's severe sensory issues. Same breakfast, same route to school, even the same yellow cup, absolute routine.
But Ethan developed his own system, right? This documentation habit.
Fascinating, isn't it? From age 9, driven by his inherent need for pattern recognition, for structure, he started documenting everything.
Not just journaling. This was intense.
Oh, yeah. Every calendar entry, every receipt, therapy notes, legal papers, all scanned, organized, indexed into this huge digital archive. It was just how his mind worked.
A system built out of necessity, but then it became something else.
It became incredibly valuable. At 16, Ethan sells his own invention, document verification software, for $3.2 million.
Wow, okay. And then?
2 weeks after the news story about the sale airs, guess who shows up?
We guess.
Rachel.
Rachel. With a lawyer, claiming she'd been co-parenting all along, demanding custody, demanding financial guardianship.
Based on what? After 11 years of silence.
Based on fraudulent documents. Get this. Fake visit logs, fake records of financial support.
Yeah.
An entire fabricated history.
The audacity. But her paper lies met Ethan's digital truth.
And on collision, Rachel's documents, they looked detailed, convincing on the surface. But she didn't count on one thing.
What was that?
Digital metadata.
Okay, explain metadata quickly. Why was that the smoking gun? Sure, so metadata is like the hidden information attached to a digital file. It tracks things like who created it, when it was created, when it was last modified.
Yeah.
Stuff you don't normally see.
Right.
Ethan takes his laptop into court, connects it, runs his own verification software on Rachel's supposed 7 years of documents,
Right.
and proves they were all created 6 weeks ago, right after he sold his company for $3.2 million.
Oh my God. The creation date itself exposed the lie.
Completely. It wasn't even about what the documents said anymore. It was when they were made. Then he pulls up his own archive, 7 years of continuous records.
Showing what?
Showing 0 deposits from Rachel, 0 phone calls logged, 0 calendar entries matching her supposed visits. He systematically debunked every single claim she made.
Using the very system he sold for millions to detect the fraud of the person who abandoned him. The irony is just, wow.
Sharp doesn't even cover it. The judge obviously had no choice, ruled Rachel's documents fraudulent, testimony perjured. Vivian got full custody.
And Rachel.
Case referred to the district attorney. Perjury, fraud charges. Ethan's inherent need for order, for digital truth, it saved them.
It just shows how powerful consistent record keeping can be. Even seemingly mundane stuff.
Absolutely. Objective digital proof versus subjective manipulative claims. No contest.
Okay, now let's broaden out. We have 2 really powerful stories about reclaiming a home. Alana Smith and Carol Rodriguez. These feel particularly relevant for a lot of people.
They really do. They touch on that long-term family dynamic where boundaries get blurred. Let's start with Alana. She literally built her house herself back in '88.
While widowed, raising her son Stephen.
Yes. And later, she let Stephen and his wife, Jenny, live there rent-free. She even gives up her own master bedroom for them.
Sacrificing her own comfort. But it wasn't appreciated.
Not at all. The sources mention this horrifying detail. Jenny posts a TikTok video mocking Alana, calling her useless, a burden. It went viral, apparently. 92,000 likes. Just awful.
That's public humiliation on top of everything else. And then Alana discovered their plan.
She overheard Jenny talking to her mother. Jenny was banking on something called possessory rights. Basically because they'd lived there over 5 years.
She thought they could claim a legal stake in the house after Evelyn died. seize the $300,000 asset.
That was the plan. Just wait her out.
So what did Ilana do? She couldn't just kick them out easily, right?
Not without risking a legal fight over those supposed rights. So she acted preemptively, surgically. She went to her lawyer nephew, Robert,
And they set up,
an irrevocable trust.
okay, another key legal tool. Why irrevocable? Why not just a standard will or maybe a revocable trust?
Good point. A will, again, probate issues. A revocable trust. She could still change it, maybe be pressured. It might not fully defeat a possessory rights claim while she was alive.
But irrevocable means?
It means the transfer of ownership to the trust is permanent, done. Ellen is named the lifetime beneficiary. She gets to live there, but the legal owner is now the trust itself.
Ah, so Jenny and Stephen living there doesn't matter anymore. They have no claim against the trust.
Exactly. It completely neutralized their whole possessory rights angle. The asset was legally locked down, protected from their future claims. Genius move.
So she created the legal shield first. Then what?
Then, while they were away on a weekend trip, she changed the locks, moved all their belongings out, inventoried everything, put it in storage. Clean sweep.
Wow. And the confrontation.
She played them the secret audio recording of Jenny's plotting, laid out the reality. The house was locked down by the trust. Their plan was exposed.
What was the ultimatum?
Option B again, essentially. Either Stephen divorces Jenny or they could potentially move back in, but under 5 strict conditions, including paying rent, respecting boundaries.
And Stephen?
Faced with the recording, the legal reality, he chose to separate from Jenny, stayed with his mother and his kids. Alana reclaimed her home, her dignity.
That's incredible strength. Okay, Carol Rodriguez's story. Similar theme, but maybe sloppier on the part of the abusers.
Definitely sloppier. Carol comes back from her sister's funeral. Awful time. Finds her son, Robert, and his wife, Danielle, have basically evicted her from her own room.
Thrown her stuff out, relegated her to some damp utility room.
Yes, their excuse. They needed space for a baby Danielle was supposedly expecting.
Just brutal timing. And it wasn't just about space, was it?
No, financial exploitation was happening too. Carol discovered $45,000 gone from her private savings, and they had sold her mother's antique furniture, 70 years old, for just $1,500.
Basically stripping her assets, assuming her grief and age made her helpless.
They assumed she wouldn't check, wouldn't fight back, but they made one huge mistake regarding the house itself.
What was that?
Carol went to her lawyer, Mr. Mendes, and discovered Robert had never actually filed the deed transfer paperwork they'd presumably signed earlier.
Wait, really? So legally?
Legally, the house was still 100% in Carol's name. That one piece of administrative sloppiness, it undid their entire plan.
Because their whole leverage depended on Carol being a guest or a burden in their house. But legally, they were the guests in hers.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They had no legal standing to evict her or control the property.
And the baby. The supposed reason for needing the space.
The final twist. Turns out Danielle's own mother contacted Carol, revealed the truth.
Which was?
Danielle was never pregnant. The whole thing was a scam. A lie to manipulate Robert, secure the house, control Carol.
Unbelievable, the layers of deception.
It all came crashing down. The stress, understandably, took a toll. Carol had a heart attack.
Oh no.
But that health scare, terrifying as it was, actually forced her hand. Made her realize she had to prioritize herself, set firm boundaries immediately.
What happened with Robert?
He eventually divorced Danielle, and importantly, he transferred the deed 100% back to Carol. Seems he learned a hard lesson. The source quotes him saying something like, "I need to build my own path, something I earn, not something given."
So connecting these 4 stories, Amanu's fight, Ethan's digital proof, Elana's trust, Carol's unfiled deed. The common thread seems to be the attackers' overconfidence, their sloppiness.
Absolutely. They relied on emotional leverage, intimidation, assuming the victim was too weak, too passive, too unaware to check the facts.
Okay, so let's pull out those key strategic nuggets you mentioned. What are the big takeaways here?
Right. 3 main things stand out. First, legal ownership is your ultimate barrier. We saw it again and again. The house was key.
Right. The quitclaim deed for Ammani, the irrevocable trust for Elena, the unfiled deed that saved Carol.
Exactly. Having that clear, irrefutable legal ownership of the core asset, usually real estate, acted as unassailable armor. It trumped emotional claims, contested wills, everything.
Okay, nugget 1. Secure legal ownership. What's 2?
Nugget 2. Mundane documentation becomes irrefutable proof. Think about it. None of them needed elaborate spycraft.
No, it was Ethan's old calendar entries, Ammani's audio recording, Carol's bank statements. Simple stuff.
Simple, but consistent. That's the key. Keeping those everyday records over time transforms subjective arguments into objective facts. It demolishes lies, proves timelines, verifies actions or inactions.
So documentation isn't just about taxes, it's potential evidence.
It's your armor. Okay. And the third nugget, maybe the toughest one, drawn especially from Elena and Carol.
Let me guess.
Boundaries.
You got it. Nugget 3. Setting boundaries is strategic financial defense. Their initial generosity, their self-sacrifice, it blurred lines.
Allowed others to see them not as people, but as a function. Or worse, a burden.
Exactly. A resource to be used up. Reclaiming their power, their assets, required drawing a hard line, establishing non-negotiable legal and financial boundaries.
Forcing the exploiters to actually face the consequences.
Yes. It wasn't just about getting the house back, it was about resetting the entire relationship dynamic, often with painful clarity.
What a set of lessons.
Yeah.
It really drives home that true power. It wasn't the $38 million Ammani inherited. It was the truth, backed by proof. Owning the irrefutable facts and having the legal standing and the will to enforce them.
Which brings us to the final thought for you, listening right now.
Yeah, think about this. If you did a quick audit of your own key documents today, your house deed, your savings records, maybe even old calendars or digital trails, what would you find?
Would you find that solid legal structure you might need one day? That shield?
Or would you find gaps? Vulnerabilities created maybe just by complacency, by assuming things are fine. What document, what record are you creating or maybe failing to file today that could determine your security down the road?